Welcome back, Commander. Today's mission is the first of two for the N64 specific missions. We can see, like, right away that these have quite a bit more background compared to, say, some of the covert operations missions. It's a nice change of pace, all things considered. But I think it also, like, you can't look at it in the same light as you do the previous missions, because the N64 version, like, they had more time to work on it and so on. Doesn't mean they didn't have their own little tricks for these ones either. And despite losing at least one A10, it's nice to know that we only need one to help us progress. This level is actually another example of too many SAM sites, like, just strewn out about. Just makes it so that if you're the kind of person who actually does prefer playing with orcas rather than medium tanks or, say, like, infantry, you just wouldn't have the opportunity to ever use them. So for a couple of these missions, I tried to do some sillier stuff, or I guess maybe more unconventional rather than silly. In some cases, I would just rush all my units in a certain direction just to see, like, how far I could get. Just because there's not usually like, there's no interconnected story to the missions as far as I know. There might be, like, a rare case of it. But regardless, it's just one of those things where it's, for me, more interesting to see, like, if I can get a MCV into the back of a base and then just, like, build within the enemy base.
Construction complete.
Especially since, like, we're given 8,000 credits. That's huge. So we actually have, like, the means to do stuff now. Unlike, say, maybe like a covert operations mission where you'd start with 3,000 credits, enough to just get you a power plant, a refinery, and then you kind of just have to work your way forward, you know, by the skin of your teeth at all times.
Building.
Morning. Moving out.
Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
What is your mission?
Unit ready.
Ready and waiting. Got it.
I will also say that because these missions have a more refined feel to them, they're certainly better built. For example, like, you don't see obelisks of light everywhere, and if there happens to be a sort of, like, strong point, it makes more sense the way that they've built them. Rather than in, like, the convoy mission in the GDI covert ops stuff, where, you know, it's an obelisk of light with 3 SAM sites and 14 turrets, and it's just impossible to break. Another thing that's nice, obviously, is that we've been given airstrikes, and we're not going to lose that, so there's more opportunities to at the very least knock out certain defenses before they actually become problems, or like, if you have the patience for it, you can work your way around it. I gotta say, I've gotten like way better at just using 5 infantry or 5 rocket soldiers to go after turrets. Sadly, it doesn't always work, and sometimes a commando doesn't kill a flamethrower. So I guess we can tell what's in that little base, if you want to call it. More of an outpost, I guess. I think the one problem I have with these missions so far is just that the weapons factory always takes forever to build, which I understand to a certain degree. But it also makes it like really tedious to ever like get around, because you need it to progress in your tech tree, obviously, and it just ends up being one of those things that's particularly annoying.
I've got a present for you. You got it. You got it.
Construction complete. New construction option. Building.
Considering that this is
Construction complete.
a lot of more of the same, so to speak, expect more like speed ups in these videos as well.
Our base is under attack. Construction complete. Building.
So we need to get into the main enemy base and I believe just destroy a building. Obviously I can't have an outpost to my right just throwing flamethrower units at me all day. So it's obviously to your benefit, if you're playing this, to go after that base first.
Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Construction complete.
Now, I was a little confused here because there is a bridge across. Like, there's nothing that technically stops Nod forces from going around to the right and then getting in behind the sandbags. So, I figure it must be something with the pathfinding that absolutely must attempt to go via the shortest route. Like, we've seen it a couple times, but it's just a little weird. Also, during the speed up, I managed to toss an airstrike like right onto some civilians that were being tested. I don't. It doesn't seem that it's mission critical to save them, so. Oops. Yeah, you can probably guess why I was speeding up this footage. Now, unfortunately for me, The Not base has a lot of power, and it's all stuck up in the top left corner. So if you ever want to like actually get through the defenses, your best bet is going that route rather than brute force. It's probably better to use up a very cheap unit like a Humvee to try and bait out Obelisk of Light shots, but you know, when you've got one or two medium tanks left over, I just like an all mana tank army. It just looks better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
So I kind of feel like a little bit of a dingus here because had I known that the special building was just in the middle of that fog of war, I could have probably ended this like a minute earlier. And it's like, of course I'm reading the objective as I get to the objective.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.